Am I the asshole for walking out in the middle of my husband's birthday dinner? My husband, 30M, and I, 27F, have been together for 3 years and married for 5 months. Our relationship has been without any problems until the week before our wedding. My husband was very close friends with a woman, let's call her Ava, that he has known since they were sophomores in high school. I never had a problem with Ava. I thought it was very obvious that she and my husband are just friends. I mean, she had a long-term boyfriend and all. So, I felt no jealousy or anything. I actually got along with Ava pretty well. We all hung out together regularly. But then my husband dropped a bombshell on me the week before we got married. I remember he sat me down and told me that Ava revealed to him that she has feelings for him and tried to convince him to not get married to me. She even broke up with her boyfriend, of 6 years, to prove that she was serious about my husband. My husband and I both agreed to cut her off. We uninvited her to our wedding and neither one of us have been in contact with her since. It was my husband's 30th birthday yesterday. He just wanted to have a dinner with family and friends, so that's what we did. So, we are all in a restaurant eating when all of a sudden Ava walks in. She walks to our table and says she didn't mean to intrude, that she was just getting dinner by herself and then saw us. She then wishes my husband a happy birthday. I expect her to leave, but then my husband asks if she wants to join us. I look at my husband like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm visibly uncomfortable and irritated. I stand up and tell Ava that she can have my seat and then I walk out and get an Uber home because I want absolutely nothing to do with her. When my husband comes home almost 2 hours later, he immediately starts an argument with me. He tells me I overreacted and acted immaturely. I ask him why did he ask Ava to eat with us because I thought we were on the same page. He replies that was just being nice and he didn't think it would be a big deal because it's been a long time since he has seen her, so she probably doesn't have feelings for him anymore. And then he tells me that I ruined his birthday. I'm still upset about it all. I don't think I'm the one in the wrong. I mean, this woman literally tried to steal my partner. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. It's been 5 months, not 5 years. Your husband is delusional if he thinks she's genuinely gotten over him and his behavior was appropriate. Not the asshole. What a coincidence that Ava just happens to go to the same restaurant. I don't get your husband's logic here. He disinvited her to his wedding but offers her to sit down and have dinner when she wasn't invited? There's something off here. Not the asshole. She literally tried to talk him out of marrying you, and to be with her instead. After that level of disrespect, he expects you to just move on? Also, the story smells a little fishy. She coincidentally came to the same restaurant, on his birthday, to eat alone. You walk out, and instead of going to talk to you, he lets you leave and stays there for 2 more hours, presumably with her being there. I dunno, just sounds very coincidental. Not the asshole. Your husband knows what he did. He replies that was just being nice. To someone who tries to ruin your marriage. And he didn't think it would be a big deal because it's been a long time since he has seen her. 5 months is a long time? So she probably doesn't have feelings for him anymore. Not good enough. And then he tells me that I ruined his birthday. Cheaper than a divorce. You called him out and he probably had to explain it to his other friends. Not the asshole, but I can't believe it took him 2 hours to follow you after the woman that told him she loved him happened to show up. I really hate to say it, but this screams emotional, physical affair, or at least they've secretly been talking. Not the asshole. WTF. He comes home 2 hours later? So, they celebrated his birthday together? Nah, he would be gone. There's more to this. He is not being honest with you at all. Am I the asshole for walking out of an interview when they would not disclose a salary to me? I'm getting mixed messages about this and a variety of opinions. Last year, I graduated with my degree in computer science. Since then, I worked on contract for a company that has been fairly okay, but not one I plan to try and start a career with. Since my contract ends in a month, I've been looking for full-time work. The hardest part about this though is fitting all the interviews in. Basically every application I send in gets responded to, along with a handful of recruiters spamming my LinkedIn. So, I've decided that if they do not tell me in the first 15 minutes of the interview what they are actually paying, I will ask. If they don't tell me in a plain terms, an actual range or a number, I will thank them for their time and leave. Most of the people I've talked to will just answer the question, but I've noticed a few try to dance around it, reply with, money isn't the most important part of a job, or some, where family and salary isn't important, bullshit. Because of this, out of about a dozen interviews I've walked from 4 this way. To at least justify this, I'm already in talks with a company and basically waiting to hear their offer, so I feel like if they are not going to give me a guess of what I could expect at this point, there's not reason for me to deal with them. Well, yesterday evening I went to meet up with a local startup. A recruiter reached out to me and I fit every checkbox they needed and had actually built a compiler for the language they were primarily using, Python, so I was their #1 candidate. 15 minutes and they had not talked at all about compensation, so I asked. The interviewer told me that, it's bad-mannered to ask for a salary this early in the process. I just smiled and said that I disagree and that I was not going to waste my time entertaining an offer if they could not compete. He tried to argue back that they were a startup and yada yada, so I just did what I did before. Stood up, thanked him for his time, and left. Well, the recruiter blew up my phone asking what the fuck I did and who I thought I was. Apparently the owner of the company was my interviewer. I had no clue. First time I talked to the guy and he never even mentioned he was the owner, and he blew up at the recruiter for my behavior. The recruiter made a vague post on LinkedIn that was an attack against me but didn't name me. The comments swing from I'm in the right to a total asshole. I told my significant other and they said that I was an asshole. So, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. And blowing up your phone is insane. By asking for salary you revealed a major culture issue in that company. Also, are you working with a recruiter to find you these positions? If so, ditch the loser. You're too valuable to be treated like this and the IT market is still hot. Not the asshole. It's bad manners to not tell people what they'll be making, since money is the primary reason people have jobs in the first place. Anyone who pretends otherwise is bullshitting. Saying stuff like, "We're family here," is for me an indicator that a company is actively trying to get away with some shady stuff like paying people as little as possible, not paying extra hours, and getting mad when people call in sick. I am an HR manager and I ask what their salary requirements are during an interview, and I am honest if we can fit that or not. All of our jobs are at a set starting rate. I disclose that immediately. Salary is one of the biggest reasons why people take a job. It is insulting to offer someone much less than they were making. If they cannot be honest about that, then avoid them. I would also suggest if they do not have a scale for raises, do not expect them. No one is working for fun, everyone is there for the money. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Owner was flabbergasted you had the gall to call his bluff. Dude was 100% going to try to sell you on stock options that don't exist yet. My large company gave up and has salary bands on all postings now. They have a long way to go before being a great employer, and even they are upfront about salary band. Not the asshole. You don't work for free. You need a salary to live on, and when they pull this bullshit of, it's not all about money, and such, it's just a scam. They try to gaslight you and say you only care about money when in reality, you are asking a totally valid question. Money might not be the most important thing, but it's definitely one of the most important things when looking for jobs, especially if you have lots of offers to compete with. You can't live off of no money, so you need to know. Walking out was unprofessional, but if they're gonna waste your time, why bother? I wouldn't even entertain an interview with a company if I didn't know a general range in the first place. They were going to make you a shitty offer and trying to sell you on the vibe of the company. So I'm going with not the asshole. Time is money. Am I the asshole for what I said to my BF's cousin when he said I'm a gold digger? My F23 boyfriend, Kyle, M31, is from a very wealthy family. I went no contact with my family a few years ago, so I didn't have much financial help these past few years, and I'm still struggling with money, but I have a good job and hopefully things will get better soon. But right now Kyle helps me a lot and I really appreciate it. When Kyle introduced me to his family, some of them were extremely nice, especially his parents, but some don't like me and think I'm a gold digger. One of them is his cousin, Matt, M33. He has been making rude comments about us from the first day that we met. Last night I was invited to one of their family gatherings. Matt was also there. He made some comments about how Kyle only got a younger girlfriend because he is rich and I'm after his money. Usually, I don't answer because I don't want to cause drama, but this time I couldn't stop myself, so I told him, of course you would think like this. With a personality like yours, I don't think any of your girlfriends ever wanted you for anything other than money. Now half of his family hates me and calls me an aw. Kyle and his parents are on my side, but I got some rude messages from Matt's siblings and parents who called me an asshole. So, if you're going to snipe someone like that, You've got to be prepared for the fallout, but it sounds entirely worth it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, bravo, sounds like he had that one coming. Not the asshole, the epitome of, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Not the asshole. Why should you have to put up with Matt's insults and rudeness and not reply? I also find it so bizarre that his family are messaging you over this. Seems like a few of them are Taz here. Kyle should have put a stop to his cousin's harassment before you had to fight back this way, but not the asshole. Not the asshole, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Am I the asshole for making a real-life Pokédex of girls at my university? So freshman year of college, I began working on this project casually. I like to keep notes on women I talk to about their favorite things, activities they enjoy, gifts, candy they like, sappy shit like that. I suck at remembering things like that, so I decided to keep a spreadsheet. Eventually, after getting a handful of entries, I offhandedly mentioned it to my friend group. One had the idea that I share it with them so we could all keep new entries as they caught different entries. So this expanded further. Right now about 40 guys have access to it, and it's mainly the guys in my frat, and the women featured are girls from different sororities. We also added more information such as like where you should take them if you really want to impress them. We don't keep this information for any nefarious or scumbaggy reasons. Just to help us know what to do if we want to impress certain girls. Like the original idea of this was just to keep information like favorite color so I didn't ever forget their favorite colors. Now it's helping a lot of guys. Somehow, a girl who was on the list found out and she was pissed TF off. She was eventually able to trace it back to me, so I assume someone who was simping for her snitched when the Pokédex wasn't making the girl like him. So she's pissed off and she made it out to be a guide to hooking up with women, when it's most definitely not that. It's just to make impressing them on dates easier. That's it. She's made a big deal of this, telling so many girls around campus, and now they're all saying that by the start of the fall semester, none of them will be visiting our fraternity or going to our parties. Now all the guys are mad at me, when I'm not even the one who told girls about the list, and they were all also using the list. I also think it's unfair to say the list was all about sex when it wasn't at all. Am I the asshole? Edit, I'm not a stalker. There was no information in it that could have been used to hurt someone. Only to have a better date. And it isn't about sex. I never used it for just sex. You are the asshole, but mainly for thinking everyone is too stupid to see the real intention behind the list. There isn't a person on here who believes this list isn't for sexual or nefarious reasons. We also added more information such as like where you should take them if you really want to impress them. We don't keep this information for any nefarious or scumbaggy reasons. So you don't think keeping a secret spreadsheet of the likes and dislikes of a bunch of girls is scumbaggy when the list exists solely to help your frat bros pretend to really know them? You are the asshole, and so are the rest of the guys with access to this list. Grow up. Dude, it's creepy and gross. Of course it's a hookup guide, don't pretend it isn't. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You said it was created to help you remember stuff about the girls you were dating and it wasn't for nefarious reasons. But you also say that a guy probably gave up the fact that your Pokédex existed because the info on it wasn't getting her to like him. That sounds like manipulation, and that is nefarious. You are the asshole. That's just creepy. And the fact that you shared it with other people and allowed them to edit it is disgusting. Also, entries. These aren't entries, these are actual people you're talking about here. The Pokédex wasn't making the girl like him, so much for it not being for nefarious reasons. Edit to add after your comment saying nothing on there can hurt people. You have a list of several women's favorite places, so places they are likely to often go to, and now approximately 40 people have access to that information, and now know the most likely place to find these girls. How is that not information that could result in them getting hurt? You are the asshole. You and all the boys who wanted access to this Pokédex. Did any of you think that? Gosh. Maybe talking to the girls and finding out through normal communication of what they like? Sure. Noting down what they like after talking to them for personal use is fine. E.g. likes a certain flower that can be used for a gift. However, literally having a collect them all Pokédex which allows the other guys to put no effort into talking to the girls is weird and makes it sound like you are all treating this as a dating sim.